And let's turn on this microphone here. Listen, a habit that I used to have was that I would constantly try to manage other people's emotions. I was constantly trying to make sure that I made everybody else around me happy. That if I did all the right things, if I was good, if I was nice enough, then I could manage how people thought about me, whether they would be mad at me, if they would be disappointed in me. And this is a habit of how I've lived my life for over 33 years, is that I would always be so focused on how can I manage the emotions of other people to make them happy all the time. And as long as I can make others happy, then I'll be safe and secure and get what I want. And the truth is, I stopped doing that completely. I just ended trying to make other people happy. I completely cut that out of my life. And my life improved. I started saying no to things that I was saying yes to just because I was trying to make others happy. I would say no to stuff, and then I would say no to things, and the other person, they'd get pissed off. They would get so livid, angry, like to the point that I was actually afraid a little bit, to the level of how angry they got at me that I said no, that it caused a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear in me, and worry. And I lived my life worried that if people are angry at me, if they're not happy with me, if they're not satisfied with what I'm doing for them, that I would be unsafe. And that's the biggest lie that I see that a lot of people believe, that a lot of people buy into, is that if I can keep others happy, if I can make others happy, if I can keep the peace, if I do what everybody wants me to do, if I always say yes to everything, if I never say no, and I manage others' emotional responses, then I'll be safe and I'll get what I want and people will take care of me and they'll buy my products and services. And this is the biggest load of junk on the planet that people believe, that I believed, that I was holding on to in my life. Is that as long as I do all the good stuff, all the right things, make everybody happy, I'm 100 for 100. And the truth is, I was more miserable than ever in my life. I was the most miserable that I've ever been in my life living that way. And when I stopped, it was hard. It was difficult. Because a lot of the people who benefited from me doing that no longer had the benefit of being able to manipulate and control me. And so they all got violently angry. Many of them did. To the point that they let me know the consequences of not making them happy. And I said, great. Those consequences, I accept them. You do what you got to do. And that's what I think a lot of people are afraid of, is they're afraid of what will happen if they stop making everybody happy and being a pleaser and being a people pleaser in their lives. And that if they do this, there's going to be these negative consequences in their life. And so we're so afraid of that. That's what I was afraid of, is what would happen if I stopped pleasing everybody in my life and making everybody happy. The truth is, my life got a whole lot better. All the things that I feared never actually happened. And my business started to grow because I started attracting the right people, not just the people that could manipulate me the best. Not just the people that could control me by making sure that I knew the darn consequences if I made them unhappy or disappointed in me. See, I was living for making sure that nobody was ever disappointed in me, that I never disappointed anybody, that people were always happy with me, that I was always pleasing their desires, that I was always doing what they wanted, that I was always operating in the framework of what others wanted me to do. And I wasn't living my life how I wanted to. And I had to stop doing that. And I stopped. And a book that I read was called Boundaries by Dr. Henry Cloud. It helped me do this. And I'm telling you, what happened was the violent rage that I got from people of anger towards me and their threats that I received of the consequences that they would rain fire and fury on my life if I ever didn't do what they wanted was insane. Trying to manipulate me back to pleasing them. Trying to manipulate me back into their clutches. And I think that this is what happens with a lot of people, why they struggle with no longer being a people pleaser, because they receive those threats. They receive those anger from people coming after them, threatening them, saying, if you don't do what I want, I'm going to make you pay. And then people live their lives as a pleaser. That's traumatic. It's actually very traumatic. It's traumatizing. And that was a pattern in my life. And I was attracting people that would treat me that way. That as long as I always did what they wanted, I'd be safe. As long as I always pleased them, I would be safe. As long as I always fit into the framework of making them happy, my life would be okay. But as soon as I came within 1% of not doing that, destruction, consequences. And so I had to stop doing that. I had to stop pleasing everybody. I had to stop making myself responsible for other people's happiness, joy, safety, security, and what they felt inside of them. And cut that out of my life and made a boundary where I'm no longer responsible for that. And I no longer spend time around people that do that to me. And what happened is now I don't have any relationships with people that do that. Did I lose all the relationships I had? Yep, I did. And I had to accept that. I had to accept the fact that I was losing all of those relationships. And I think that's where people are afraid of. They're afraid of losing the relationships. They're afraid of the consequences that happen. When in fact, there's healthy relationships on the other side of it. Now I have healthy, thriving relationships with many people that I wish I had done this years sooner. Given up the need to try to make everybody happy in my life. Given up the desire to try to please everybody. And focused on, A, what I want to do, and B, expressing myself clearly with expectations, saying no when I meant it, not saying yes to things that I didn't want to do. How many of you are saying yes to things that you don't want to do just to make others happy, just to keep the peace in your life? And so I stopped doing that. And what happened was I started developing thriving relationships, making more money, amazing clients, people that I love to work with, people that are not codependent, people that are not narcissistic, people that are not abusive. And I started working with people that are incredible people, making friends that were incredible friends, because I no longer tolerated people needing me to make them happy in their lives. And I no longer required other people to make me happy. See, that was the root. Is I felt that my happiness was the responsibility of others just as I was theirs. How many of you are living your life in this prison? How many of you live your life in a similar situation? I'd love to know that. You can't be a pleaser and want to be successful in business. You just can't. As an entrepreneur, you can be a pleaser and be a star employee at a job. Okay? You can be a pleaser and maybe run a 6-figure service agency, like service-based business. But that's you working. If you want to be an entrepreneur, a business owner, not somebody that's working in your business, but benefits by leveraging your efforts. You can't be a pleaser, my friends. And you have to stop trying to make everybody happy in your life. You can't allow the fear and worry of people's anger and violence and fury towards you to keep you stuck in a prison of constantly trying to please everybody. You can't allow the worry and shame and guilt of people being disappointed in you when you don't do what they want, and now they're unhappy with you, and now they let you know the consequences, and they're going to make you pay with your life because you didn't please them and make them happy. This is what I was hearing in my life. This is what I constantly, from every direction, was getting for years, until I finally stopped trying to make people happy and gave up and started saying no and refusing to ever live my life trying to make others happy, trying to please other people. This isn't about being an asshole. This isn't about being unkind, uncompassionate. Listen, especially when it comes to my wife, my relationships with my wife, I care about her being happy. I care about her feeling loved and all that. With everybody else in the world, see, what was happening was I was pleasing everybody else outside of our home, and I was actually not taking care of even the home relationship because I was trying to make everybody else happy. It's backwards. It's twisted. It's wrong. How many of you are trying to build your business operating in that framework of trying to make other people happy, trying to please everybody, trying to say, if I just get everybody to like me enough, then maybe they'll do business with me? Doesn't work. Doesn't work that way. You actually can't sell that way. People don't trust people that do that with their money to buy anything from them. And so if you want to build a business and sell to people, you got to rip that thing out of you that tries to please everybody, that tries to make everybody happy all the time, that tries to always do what everybody wants them to do, and is so afraid of the consequences of not doing so, and managing and maintaining safety and security by, if I never upset anybody, then I will be happy in my life, and I will be safe and secure, and being worried about the consequences that people threaten us with when we don't do what they want. If somebody's threatening you for saying no to them and not making them happy, that is not somebody you want to spend time around. That's a red flag that you should run away from. Really. And that's what I started doing. I cut those people out of my life. I don't spend time with those people. And I found brand new friends. So, fear of rejection is a powerful thing because then we don't want to reject others. My friends, if you can work through this, you find your confidence in yourself, your self-respect, you show others how to treat you, and you're not worried about the consequences. If people come at you with violent threats for saying no because you're not making them happy and you're not pleasing them, that's no way to live your life, my friends. And so when I gave up ever concerning myself about making other people happy, pleasing other people, doing what other people want me to do, that's where my life started thriving. And when I talk to business owners, I talk to mentors, coaches, I talk to people that I work with that are multimillionaires, they all say the same thing. It's the same thing. And so this is a common factor. Listen, if you want to be successful in business, you have to kill this thing in your life. If you're constantly just trying to live and operate in a way that tries to make everybody happy and please everybody, and start living your life with the confidence inside of you that you're not afraid of if people are upset with you. You're not afraid if they get pissed off for you saying no. You're not afraid of if they're unhappy with you. And you go out there and you're not living a facade or with a mask that tries to say, I'm this way so that you like me. Kill that thing that tries to make people like you. Realize that for you to be successful in business, you're not going to please everybody. And you got to destroy that thing that tries to and not let it ever come back. And it'll change your life for the better. I promise you that. All right, everybody. Listen, if you want some coaching in your business on how to grow, how to create offers that create 6 and 7 figures, my website, jeremiahkrakowski.com, has those. Over 145 podcast episodes on the website for free. Courses that are under $200 that you can buy. We'll talk soon, everybody. Have a good one.